representation.
In a recent Justice Portfolio Committee in Parliament, MPs across political lines questioned the independence of the National Prosecuting Authority.
And I agree with you, there should be no such influence. And the NPA should tolerate no such influence. None. It's a non-thing, it should never be allowed, but we live in the real world. And we've seen this happen. And so it's not true that the Justice Minister does not have influence over the NPA, even if it's a very subtle influence. Of course you do. And how you choose to exercise it is, of course, up to the Justice Minister. And I've not got any reason to suggest that you've done anything untoward in that regard, and I'm not suggesting it. But perceptions, Minister, are everything.
National Prosecuting Act. The Minister shall, for the purposes of Section 179 of the Constitution, this Act or any other law, exercise final responsibility over the prosecuting authority in accordance with the provisions of this Act. Now, then it goes number 2, Section 2, enabled to exercise your responsibility, the National Director shall, that is obligatory, at the request of the Minister, furnish the Minister with information or a report regarding any case, matter or subject dealt with by the National Director in the exercise of their power. And it goes on in subsections, provide the Minister with reasons for any decision, furnish the Minister with information regard to prosecution, policy directives, etc. So I think, through your Chair, Honourable Minister, it's very clear that you have substantial powers in terms of that Act.
Now, you are the head of the department. You have a statutory responsibility to oversee and to supervise the work that is done by all the entities falling under your department. And the NPA is no exception to that.
I think Section 179 of the Constitution also stipulates that an act must be legislated to ensure that the prosecuting authority exercises its functions without fear, favor, or prejudice. And that is elucidated more in Section 32, where the impartiality and the oath that members in the prosecuting authority must take.
National Director of Public Prosecutions, Advocate Shamila Batohi, says the NPA has done research which will assist with guiding legislative reforms. But the Centre for Development and Enterprise says big and bold action is needed now.
In our view, it's very important that the President and the Minister of Justice state publicly that they are fully behind the work of the NPA wherever it may lead and however powerful the people are who the NPA needs to investigate.
Bernstein says the inquiry should examine the structure, leadership and independence, as well as all issues relating to performance over the last 6 years.
We are saying there are a number of questions and allegations about the NPA and why it has been disappointing, in our view, over the last 6 years. And that's why we're calling for the President to appoint a retired judge urgently to look into the NPA. If the allegations are untrue, then we must know this from the judge's investigation.
The NPA says based on the research, it has already established an internal task team that will guide policy changes needed to give effect to the legislative amendment. Abra Babia, SABC News, Parliament.